Today I'm going to be going through dynamic search ads for Google Ads. So I'll be creating a dynamic search ads campaign, but where I want to get started is I've opened up an existing search campaign. So I use this search campaign as an example for my previous Google Ads search campaign tutorial. I'll put that link in the video description in case you want to watch that video. But you can see right here, I just added 2 ad groups to this campaign, and they're both standard ad groups. So standard ad groups are when you are targeting keywords. So when you click to create a new ad group, the ad group type at the very top, when it says standard here, it's going to ask you to enter keywords. And then when you save and continue, then you create your responsive search ads. The difference with dynamic search ads is when you come here to create a new ad group, you choose dynamic. It's going to change that ad group type. We click on continue. And then what you're going to see is it's going to ask for your domain. So this is just pulling in information from my website, brickpop.com. And what we want to do is we want to scroll down. You can name your ad group at the top here. And there's different ways to actually target your dynamic search ads. So one of the first ways that's going to come up is categories recommended for your website. Now, I did not create this. This is all done by Google. They basically just took my website and put it together into different categories. And right now they have 16 categories showing. This is a pretty new website, so I'm kind of impressed that there's 16 categories. And to show a quick example of how dynamic search ads work, they have a preview here where you can see example of how your ad could work. Google search that triggers your ad, Montessori puzzles. So if somebody searches for Montessori puzzles, they're going to send people to my landing page where I have the 24 best Montessori puzzles for 2023. Now, this is all dynamically generated. So I'll show you the ad creation process in a little bit, but what it's going to do is going to pull from my landing page and say, this would be a good keyword for this landing page. This is the way your ad would look. And then all we really need to do is write the description line, and Google handles the rest. So it does make it a lot easier to create your search campaigns by using dynamic search ads, but it is important to actually still create organized search campaigns, even if you are using dynamic search ads. The other thing to keep in mind is you can mix and match standard and dynamic search ad groups in the same exact search campaign. So if you're wondering, do I have to create these separately? You do not. And from what I've found, and I'm pretty sure in Google's own documentation, if you are targeting keywords in a standard search campaign, that is going to take precedence over your dynamic ad targets. So I have found that when I'm running dynamic ad groups and standard ad groups, I have found that the standard ad groups tend to take precedence if there is some crossover in terms of the overall keywords, which generally there's going to be. And don't worry about, am I competing with myself? You're not going to be competing with yourself. Google is going to pull out whatever the best targeting is from your campaign for that specific search term. So let's go over some of the different ways to target dynamic search ads. First and foremost, and when we're creating a new ad group, we click on continue, and we're creating a dynamic search ad group. So I went over some of the different categories here, and you can see if we scroll down, they have all of these categories that they've pulled from my website. So not too bad, but I generally don't use the category targeting. It can be used if you're looking for a few different broad categories that you want to target. So something like toys here, for example, you can say, okay, let me target this category of toys, and you can see my preview. The problem is it's not always going to be perfect in terms of targeting, in terms of the ads that are showing up, but it is still pretty relevant in terms of what people are actually typing in, the landing page where Google is sending traffic to, and the overall advertisement. So all of that tends to be pretty organized and targeted for the most part when people are using dynamic search ads and the actual things people are seeing in the search results. Now let's go over some of the different ways to actually target your dynamic search ads with specific web pages. One thing you can do is use exact URLs. So if you say, I want to send traffic to this specific page on my website, you could literally just copy and paste that website here. Then you want to click on add. It's going to enter it over here on the right-hand side, save and continue. You could also do all web pages. So this is not bad to do all web pages in one of your ad groups, just because if you're saying, okay, I created this massive campaign, I just want to make sure that anything that is relevant to my website, I am still targeting with my search ads. So it is a good idea to use this all web pages. Use one ad group that targets all web pages. You can name the ad group all web pages here, just like that. And we target them. It's going to choose that selected, go to save and continue. And now it's going to tell us to create a dynamic search ad. Dynamic search ads are very, very easy to create. The final URL is dynamically generated. The headline is dynamically generated. The display URL is dynamically generated. All you have to do is write 2 description lines. So it's really that simple to create dynamic search ads. So we're going to click on cancel for now and go back. Okay, and we'll pause our ad group for right now, and we're going to click to create a new ad group. Okay, so we'll do a dynamic ad group again. We are going to change this ad group type to dynamic. So first what you want to do is name your ad group. I don't know why we don't have our targeting here. Okay, there it popped in. Okay, now the example I'm going to be using today is for the website O'ReillyAuto.com. So this is really one of the better websites that could be useful for dynamic search ads. Although the other thing you need to know is if you are running dynamic search ads campaigns, a lot of times they're just going to be very similar to the way Performance Max campaigns perform. And what you're going to see, even if you go to Google Ads' own help pages about dynamic search ads, they have this message at the top of all of them. Existing dynamic search ad campaigns may be eligible to upgrade to Performance Max. So if you're running Performance Max campaigns already, and a lot of e-commerce websites are running Performance Max, and the search ads are targeted basically the same exact way dynamic search ads are targeted. Google is taking your landing pages and they are trying to find the best possible keywords. So when somebody types in one of your products, for example, let's come over here to O'Reilly Auto Parts. Somebody types in the Superstart Platinum AGM battery. Then what Google is going to do is say, okay, let's take this landing page. Let's put up a dynamic search ad inside the Performance Max campaign that's targeting this specific product, basically, where we're trying to send traffic to this product because somebody searched for the Superstart Platinum AGM battery. Now, that makes a lot more sense than trying to target keywords for every single possible product on your website. So where keyword targeting is much more useful is when we come back over here and we click on all the different categories and you go, okay, let's target exhaust, let's target air conditioning and heating, let's target alternators and starters. That is where you would really want to target keywords. And when you're actually focusing on specific products, that's where you would rather use some of these dynamic search ad targets. Because what Google Ads is able to do is read your actual landing page, read the headline of your landing page and say, okay, this is going to be a really targeted advertisement for somebody who is searching for this specific product. So that's one thing to keep in mind is if you are already running Performance Max campaigns, and let's just say, for example, you have your entire shopping catalog. So you have your whole entire shopping feed that you're targeting. So let's just say we use O'Reilly Auto Parts as our example. They have a huge Performance Max campaign, different asset groups for all these different categories, targeting every single product within their product feed. And then they create a completely separate dynamic search campaign. For the most part, that dynamic search campaign may not run that much because it's going to be targeting those keywords within Performance Max campaigns. So hopefully that all makes sense. It could be a little bit confusing because there's different campaign types, but the other area where dynamic search ads can be useful is for a website like a TripAdvisor.com. So if you're targeting based on specific URLs, and let's just say you want to target people who are searching for hotels in Nashville. So you can create a standard search ad group and target the keyword, obviously I'm in the ad group name here, but just target the keyword and just say, we want to target anybody searching for Nashville hotels. Okay. So that's the keyword that we're going to target in our standard ad group. Now in our dynamic ad group, what we want to do is make sure when people are typing in specific hotels, we can drive them to some of these pages that we have. So the Holiday Inn Nashville, we have Drury Plaza Hotel Nashville, and we have the Holston House Nashville. I just clicked on the top 3 results in TripAdvisor, but instead of TripAdvisor saying, okay, we have to create a separate ad group for each of these individual hotels, what they can actually do is use the URL up here at the top to help with their targeting for their dynamic search ads. So let's come over here. We're going to create a dynamic search ad group. And the example I'm going to use right now is for TripAdvisor. So let's just say TripAdvisor. Obviously, this is just just for this tutorial, so I'm not going to add this into my BrickPop search campaign. So we do TripAdvisor, Nashville hotels. And now what we want to do is instead of targeting categories, we want to target specific web pages, and we create a new rule to target a specific web page. You can use exact URLs. So if you say, okay, we want to focus on these 10 different hotels, then this makes it much easier to just copy and paste this hotel URL right there. And then what you have to do is click on the add button, and that adds this as a target over here on the right-hand side. Then we click on save and continue and create our ads. So what we can do is we're going to get rid of this hotel for right now. Instead of using exact URLs, we can create rules to target web pages. And we can say the URL, the page title, the page content, or the category. So you can choose from any of these options here. I'll go over category a little bit later on in this video, or go over page feeds a little later on in this video as well. But if we use URL and we say the URL contains, what you want to do is look at the URLs you're actually targeting for. And this makes it much easier for websites that have clean URLs that are pretty consistent. This is one of the reasons why I chose O'Reilly Auto. I'll use this example in a second, but let's come over here to the Holiday Inn Nashville. And if we come up to the very top, what we want to look for is, okay, what do these URLs have in common? The word Nashville and the word hotel. Okay, so if you look up at the URLs, all of them have Nashville and they also have hotel in the URLs. So what we can do is we can say, okay, instead of targeting all of these keywords individually, if the URL contains, and we're even going to use the same exact case that they have, contains hotel, and the URL contains Nashville. Okay, so we're going to choose these two and click on add. And now it's going to say our dynamic ad target is going to be the URL contains hotel, the URL contains Nashville. That will target this hotel here, that will target this hotel here, that will target this hotel here. It will target this hotels page most likely, although this one says hotels, so we could actually target that separately. But what we can do is anytime there is an individual hotel, let's just scroll to the bottom of the list, we'll find a random hotel here. Okay, we'll just take this Homewood Suites by Hilton Nashville Downtown. Hotel very first here, and then we have Nashville Downtown, Nashville, Davidson County, Tennessee. So you can also say, and we want to make sure it says Davidson County. That could be another option you have, or we want to make sure it says Tennessee. So you can use all of these different pieces of the URL to make sure that your ads are as targeted as possible. We can get rid of this and say URL contains hotel and Nashville, and we'll take this other piece here, click on add. Davidson County, Tennessee, Nashville Hotel, all of these different URLs contain that. So now we know for sure that when we are using this dynamic ad target, it's going to use all of the different Nashville hotels that we have listed on TripAdvisor. So what we could do is click on save and continue. It's really that simple to set our dynamic ad targets. Scroll to the bottom, write our 2 description lines. So I'm just going to write these pretty quickly. We'll just do... Okay, so we have our 2 description lines here. Discover the best hotels in Nashville at the best possible prices. Book your dream stay. Book a top-rated Nashville hotel today and save. TripAdvisor has the best prices. So we click on done. We can create another dynamic search ad if we want, but we're going to click on save and continue. And now we have our dynamic ad group launched, and we are targeting all of our Nashville hotels. So you can see how much easier that would be for a website like TripAdvisor than trying to target each page individually. So the dynamic ad makes this very worthwhile to test dynamic search ads out, especially for very large websites. Now, you're not going to use them as much for an O'Reilly Auto Parts because if you're using Performance Max campaigns already, then you already have these dynamic search ads, but it is a good example. So I'm still going to use O'Reilly Auto Parts for when I'm creating this campaign. One thing I want to show you real quick is you can actually use a page feed to target your dynamic search ads. Personally, I think it's much easier to not use a page feed, so I'm not going to go over this extensively in this video. But if you do want to use a page feed, you can come to this page here. I'll put it in the video description. You can download the page feed data template, which looks like this. And what it has is page URL and custom label. So I already put a couple little examples here for O'Reilly Auto. And what you'll see is in the left-hand column, in this A column here, you have page URL, and underneath you would put these 2 URLs there, and then you would set a custom label under that as well. So we could do our batteries custom label. Let's make sure we put our, and what you're going to see is for their example, you have, okay, example.com/1 goes into a custom label of category page and shoes. This one goes to single product and top seller. This one goes USA, Nevada, Las Vegas, 5 stars. So what you're able to do is basically create a page feed of all of the different pages on your website and then put a custom label for all of these different pages as well. So for O'Reilly Auto, what I could do is say, okay, let me take maybe the 20 batteries that I really want to focus on and put those in my page feed and maybe put top selling batteries. So then when you are setting your actual targets, you can say, okay, I'm going to use the custom label to target the top rated batteries. Now, once you are done with your page feed, what you need to do is go back into your Google Ads account. And from there, you're going to go into tools and you're going to go into your business data. From your business data, you can upload your data feeds here. So if you click on the plus sign, you can see page feed right here. So when you click on the page feed, you could see select a source, upload a file, and then you could select that file from your computer. And then all you need to do is use those actual labels for your targeting. I personally prefer to use the URL rules. I think they're so much easier to manage that way. So this is really a matter of preference. If you want to put together a huge page feed, you can absolutely do that. It can be good for websites that don't change a lot, that don't have a ton of new products added or a ton of products that are removed. Because what I like about using the URLs is, let's just say, for example, one of these hotels is no longer, changes names, or TripAdvisor gets rid of the page altogether. Basically, it's just going to automatically remove that page from our targeting because that page no longer exists on our website. So you don't really have to worry too much about making sure that your page feed is completely up to date, as long as, if you are using these URL, the way that I showed you earlier, where you're targeting based on the URLs. So let's come back over here and let's click on create to create a new campaign. We could do this from the campaign screen as well, but we'll do create a new campaign here. Very first thing, you want to make sure you're using conversion tracking. So if we're going to use O'Reilly Auto Parts as the example, obviously what they want to track is going to be anybody who's purchasing something from their website. They may want to track people who are finding a repair shop. They may want to track people who create a new account. You may want to track all of those different things as a conversion. So any key performance indicator on your website, for the most part, you're going to be optimizing for actual sales on your website, whether it's somebody doing a free pickup or somebody ordering delivery, people adding things to their cart, people beginning the checkout process. Track all of those different key things that are happening on your website so then you can optimize for them. So what we're going to do over here is we're going to choose our campaign objective, and let's just pretend we have all of our different conversion tracking set up already, which I don't. I do for BrickPop, but I don't for O'Reilly Auto Parts, obviously. And then we want to use your conversion goals to improve sales. I don't really have any sales conversion goals, but you would want to select the conversion goals that you want to optimize for this campaign. And then we want to click on continue. And now what we're going to do is build a search campaign using website visits. We can enter our website here. So let's just enter our O'Reilly.com. Okay, we'll paste that right here. And then our campaign name will say O'Reilly Auto Parts Dynamic Search Ads. Okay, and we'll click on continue. Okay, what do we want to focus on? Conversions. So this is where you set your bidding strategy. So I would personally probably focus on conversion value, set a target return on ad spend, or you could just start with maximize conversion value, and we'll click on next here. We're going to use the search network. We can include Google search partners. We won't include the Google display network. Next is going to be our location targeting. So we'll say United States. We'll skip through some of these steps here. You can add audience segments to your campaign if you want to observe specific audience segments, maybe people who are in the market for auto parts. So if we search here, now the two options for our targeting or observation, you want to use observation because targeting is going to limit your campaign only to people within specific audiences. So let's say auto parts. And you can see people who are in the market for car brakes, oil changes, auto parts and accessories, high performance, and aftermarket auto parts. So you can choose some of these audience segments. I'm just going to skip this step for now. We're going to click on next. And now what we want to do is set our ad group. Now, one of the frustrating things is when you are in the campaign creation process, it automatically sets to a standard ad group. So what you can do is create your first standard ad group if you want, any types of keywords that you want to target, and set that for your specific first ad group. I just want to fast forward to this part a little bit. So instead of creating our standard ad group here, what we're going to do is keep it ad group 1. We have our keyword suggestions here. We're going to scroll to the bottom. We have our ad already. This is not an ad I would run. And we're just going to click on done for right now and click on next. Okay, set our average daily budget for this campaign. We'll do $25 and click on next. Our campaign is ready to publish. Okay, so let's scroll to the bottom. It says value is required. We have a value there. Okay, let's publish our campaign. Now, this is how, if I am creating a dynamic search ads campaign, this is generally how I do it. So now we come over to our campaigns for O'Reilly Auto Parts. And what we're going to do is come to our campaigns here. We have our O'Reilly Auto Parts dynamic search ads campaign. Let's come to the campaign. Let's pause our initial ad group. So they're really asking these things now. Okay, let's click on the plus sign here. And let's set up our ad group. And now this is when you want to start creating your dynamic ad groups. Yes, we want to change our ad group type. And let's say, okay, we want to target people looking for batteries. So again, I would just basically look at, okay, we have our category of batteries here. And then we open up a battery and you're trying to look for things that are common with any of your product pages and any of these pages as well. So what you could do is, don't know if there's anything that's going to be specific to product pages versus the actual category page itself. But what we could do is we could just say, okay, it looks like this is in every single product page and product category page for O'Reilly Auto Parts. The other thing is if we go to other categories here, so I have detailing open, I have brakes open. So you'll see we have Shop B brakes, and maybe we scroll down and we open up brake pads and shoes, and that's probably going to bring up some different products that are for sale. Okay, now what we can do is open up one of these product pages as well. So we'll just create 2 different dynamic ad groups for this example. So what it looks like is if we do Shop B battery, that is going to, because detail looks like their product pages. Okay, so that makes sense. Shop B detailing. Okay, I don't even know how to say that word. Let's open up tire and wheel. Shop B detailing tire and wheel. We'll do wheel cleaner. Just trying to look at some of the URL structures here and go over how the URL can impact the way that you target. Okay, so that makes a lot of sense. Okay, so here's what we are going to do. Basically, what we can start is dynamic search ads, and we can start with a category page like this. Now, this may not be the best to target because there's no products on this page. So maybe we don't even want to target this page. Let's look at, okay, so this would be a better thing to target. So we could do Shop B brakes brake pads. So we'll copy this right here, this URL, and then our ad group is going to be brake pads category page. This will all make sense as we go. They have 252 categories here, so more categories than my website. You could literally just use some of these categories here as well to create your ad groups, and you get plenty of search volume here. As you can see, it'll rank it based on search volume if you select it. Oil, tools, engine, maybe a little bit too broad, but things like, you know, as we come down here, brake pads, that's exactly what we're doing. So we could pretty much just choose this category here, and then people that are searching for brake pads, they will send them to that landing page, and then we have brake pads and shoes, O'Reilly Auto Parts, and it's going to use our description. Everything else is dynamically generated. So instead of using the category, let's use our specific web pages, and let's create URLs to target a web page. What you could do is if you want to target product category pages like this one, you could use, or this one here, you could use the exact URL, but let's just say, you know, we could use this here, Shop B brakes, brake pads, and URL contains that ad. We click on save and continue, and now we have our first ad group created. Very simple. I'm going to just do, you know, some description line here, and we are going to do some description line here. Obviously, you want to create better advertisements than this and actually describe the exact thing people are going to be shopping for on your product category page, or in the way we did with TripAdvisor, you know, just highlight, get the best hotel deal in Nashville, and, you know, shop today type thing. Okay, save and continue. And now we have our first ad group created. It's a dynamic ad group, and it's the brake pads category page. Now what we want to do is target brake pads products. So we want to target some of these individual products here. So what you're looking for is, okay, what is different about these product pages compared to the product category pages? So we can look as we look at a couple different brake pad pages, and let's just see what they have in common. So we have our brakes page, we have our category page. These have a C here, brake best, select brake pads. C, brake best, select brake pads. Let's make sure. So that would target every single brake best, select brake pads that they have here, which looks like pretty much all of them, at least the very top. And this is sorted by relevance. Let's go. So that might target by every single different brand. And that's one thing you want to look at, so you don't have too much crossover here. So this one, okay, is going to be, so you could actually, instead of targeting every single brake pad product, you could actually use this and say, okay, let's use C, AC Delco brake pads. Copy this, and now we can use a dynamic ad group, AC Delco brake pads. Now, I am not a car person whatsoever, so as if you couldn't tell throughout the video, but we could use create rules to target this web page. URL contains this AC Delco brakes pads. Click on add. Now we have our dynamic ad target. Save and continue. And we'll do the same thing here. Description line here and description line here. And we click on done. Save and continue again. And now we have our second ad group created. So basically what you can do is just continuously go through all these different product category pages. And now we could say, okay, let's target every single different battery product page here, and we're looking for things that these battery pages have in common. And it looks like one of the things is battery accessories batteries. So just basically this part right here is every single product page has that. So we can come over, we can create, let's pause these ad groups so they don't run. I don't want to send any traffic to the O'Reilly Auto Parts store. So let's create our new ad group. This will be the last one we create for right now. And we're going to click on continue. And now we have ad group 4. So under ad group 4, we will do our batteries, all products. And we scroll down, specific web pages, create rules, URL contains. Okay, so the URL contains this part here, where if we go to a couple of these different batteries that we opened, so this will also target the product category page, it looks like, but it will also target every single product page. So if somebody's searching for this specific product, what Google is going to do is they're going to take the headline and try to fit in this entire headline. So it's as targeted as an advertisement as possible, much more targeted than we can do, trying to actually target every single individual product. So that's where dynamic search ads can be very useful. Same thing with Nashville hotels. Instead of targeting each individual hotel in Nashville, if you're TripAdvisor, you cannot target the thousands and thousands and thousands of hotels you have listed in every single destination everywhere. So dynamic search ads is where that makes your life a little bit easier. So we click on save and continue, and I think you get the drift at this point. Description line 1 and description line 2. I think we did 3 different description lines every single time, but these are not good advertisements. You definitely want to write much better descriptions, and you can create multiple ads in each ad group. The other thing is, if you want to create standard ad groups to go along with your dynamic search ad groups, that's perfectly fine. So you want to just continue building out your campaign. If you're O'Reilly Auto Parts, this campaign is still going to take a while to build because you have all these different categories here. If you go to all categories, what I would basically recommend getting started with is, okay, how can we target every single category? And the easy way to do this would to be taking this brakes, brake pads, shoes portion of the URL, which would target this entire product category page. It would target a lot of these different, it looks like it would target every single product on their website that is a brake pad, a shoe. And then all you want to do is use your description line 1, description line 2, and say, shop brakes and brake pads at O'Reilly Auto Parts. You can do the same thing for batteries, accessories, and just basically take this portion right here and target that portion of the URL, and that will target all of these different product pages in addition to the product category page. So we went over how to do this with Nashville. You could easily target every single hotel on your website in Nashville by using dynamic search ads. So they can be very easy to create, and then all you want to do is just wait till some of your activity is coming in. The one thing I would recommend is within your campaign and going to your campaign settings, I generally recommend getting started with a portfolio bid strategy. So portfolio bid strategies, instead of just using maximize conversion value, we can set a target return on ad spend and say, okay, we want to have a 300% return on ad spend to start. If we do change bid strategy here, what we could also do, come over here to tools, go to budgets and bidding, and go to bid strategies. And when you go to bid strategies, you can create a portfolio bid strategy. Click on the plus sign, target return on ad spend, name your strategy, select the campaign. So obviously we would select our dynamic search ads campaign. Set your target return on ad spend. Let's just say it's 300%, for example. You can create a shared budget. So if you have multiple search campaigns you're running, and then what you could do is a maximum bid limit. So when you first get started with your maximize conversions or maximize conversion bid strategy, I always find that Google just basically wastes the first several days of budget testing, which is perfectly fine, but sometimes they bid way too high. So you can look at the Google Keyword Planner. If we come over here to tools, you go to your planning here and go to Keyword Planner and see how much people are bidding for a lot of these different keywords. Now, front brake pads that cost $1,000 each, probably pretty high bids. So what you could always do is, let's just say, let me set my maximum bid limit at $5, and we will see how our campaign spends in the beginning. And then if it's not spending, we can increase this bid limit. If it's spending and hitting our daily budget, we can decrease this bid limit and try to find that ideal target where we are maximizing our return on ad spend and we're also spending our full daily budget. So let's pause this campaign so I don't have an O'Reilly Auto Parts campaign running. So we're going to pause this here. Some ads limited by policy, probably because I have trademarks in my ad text. So that's because I'm using TripAdvisor and I don't have the TripAdvisor trademark. So If you have any questions about dynamic search ads, this is a good overview of how to get started with them, ways you can add them to your existing search campaigns, ways you can create a new dynamic search ads campaigns, and exactly how they're targeted. The other thing to keep in mind is what I went over with Performance Max, and you could also use these page feeds. That's the one thing I didn't go over because I just find it much easier to target by URL. But the other thing is your dynamic search ads campaigns. Now, this is currently in beta to upgrade dynamic search ads to Performance Max, but you may start getting, if you're running strictly a dynamic search ads campaign with no standard ad groups, Google may tell you, why don't you upgrade this to a Performance Max campaign? Because then what you can do is Google will actually use their entire inventory to say, okay, maybe we can target people when they're on this channel with a specific advertisement, because based on every single signal we have, this person is going to be interested in purchasing a new car battery or a new brake pad or whatever based on their search history, pages that they're visiting. So you may want to upgrade to a Performance Max campaign, but overall, this is how dynamic search ads work. If you have any questions about anything, please leave them in the comment section. Thank you for watching my video today, and make sure you subscribe to the Surfside PPC YouTube channel.